Okay, okay, good, good, good.
Test, test.
Test, test, test.
Good, good.
Yeah, yeah, we're good, we're good. Cool.
Yeah.
We'll go with,
Number 72, offensive line.
yeah, if we need to, we can lift it up. Hello and welcome to the CCS Division 4 Championship game here tonight on PlayOnSports.com. It's the PlayOnSports.com pregame show live from Terra Nova High School in Pacifica, California. I'm Sonny Beaupre here with Willie McFarland on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Tonight's matchup features the technically visiting Menlo School Knights versus the technically host Sacred Heart Prep Gators here on PlayOnSports.com. The Menlo School comes into tonight's game with a record of 10-2, while Sacred Heart Prep comes into tonight's game with a record of 11-1. Once again, this is for the CCS Division 4 Championship game. That is the Central Coast Section Division 4 Championship. Once again, I'm Sonny Beaupre here with PlayOnSports.com, here with Willie McFarland. And Willie, we've got a game on our hands tonight. These two schools, cross-town rivals, cross-road rivals, you might even call them.
Yeah.
When they play in the regular season, they call it the Valparaiso Bowl, because both these schools are located on
Right.
Valparaiso Street. They know each other very well. These kids on these teams, friends with each other outside of school. They all grew up together. It's a lot on the line tonight. You got to put friendships aside in this game, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a championship game. Played really hard all season to get to this point, and kind of a picture-perfect ending, if you ask me, to get to go against your, hometown rivals. And, they're definitely going to be excited out here tonight.
Right, both of these teams located in Atherton, California, just south of Pacifica here in California, although the game is taking place here in a neutral site in Pacifica, where the rain is falling. I don't know if you can see on the cameras there, but the rain is falling. It's been falling for the most part of the day, and it's been falling pretty hard for these past 2 hours here in Pacifica. And the forecast for the remainder of this game, heavy rainfall remaining. So I got a chance to walk around on the field there a little bit before the game, and although it is artificial field turf, so we don't have to deal with the mud, but there's a lot of puddles. There are large amounts of water all over that field. They did not get the tarp out over there today at all, so I took a walk around the field, and every step you take, your foot goes about halfway into a huge puddle of water. That may play a large part in this game tonight. Just in general, although both teams do have to deal with these conditions, Willie. How do you think this affects tonight's game outside of that?
Well, you look at Menlo with 270 yards passing per game compared to only 113 rushing, and they're averaging 48.3 points per game. You'd like to think that these conditions are going to make maybe slow down the passing game a little bit. And usually in this type of adverse weather, running the ball is really important. But like you said, both teams have to deal with it. Ball security becomes an issue. It's hard to hang on to that wet football. So we don't really know how it's going to play out, but it's definitely not ideal for either team.
Absolutely. A tale of two different offenses here tonight. Like you said, Menlo, they average 270 pass yards per game, whereas Sacred Heart Prep averages about 269 rush yards per game. So very even in that sense, just in different aspects of the game. You look at the Valpo Bowl is what they call it, but when these two teams meet up, they did meet just 3 weeks ago for a regular season game. Final score there was the Sacred Heart Prep Gators over the Menlo School Knights by a score of 31-28. Both teams doing very strange things there, where Gators averaging over 40. They've scored over 40 points in every game they've played this year, except for that Valpo Bowl. And the Knights have allowed less than 20 points per game, except outside of that Valpo Bowl. So once again, both the teams' strengths meeting up with each other in this game, and a lot riding, like you said, pride, a big championship on the line here, and you're friends with these guys on the other sideline.
Bragging rights.
Bragging rights, big-time bragging rights for both of these teams. A big player in tonight's game could be Jack Hannigan, the Knights quarterback. He is the senior. He's a very prolific runner, as well as a very effective passer in the game. The Menlo Knights average 48.3 points per game, number one in the CCS. The mobile quarterback, Jack Hannigan, he's thrown for over 2,696 yards, 33 touchdowns with only 3 interceptions, although 2 of those turnovers came in the Valpo Bowl earlier this season. He also lost a fumble late in the first half of that game, which ended up ultimately costing the Knights the game there. Hannigan bounced back in the playoffs, though, last week, 4 touchdowns against the previously unbeaten Seaside, the #1 seed. So both these teams, they know what they have to do tonight. They're both very strong at everything they do, and we're going to get a chance to see some great football on hand here once again. It is the CCS Division IV championship game between the Sacred Heart Prep Gators and the Menlo High Knights. And we're just moments away from kickoff here, where the Knights will be accepting the kickoff. The Knights in their blue and gold will be going from our left to our right to begin the game, and the Gators of Sacred Heart Prep in their burgundy and white will be kicking off from right to left. So the ball is teed up. Willie, any last thoughts?
No, this is exciting. I can't wait to see, how this game plays out, and boy, what a story. Such a close game the first time, for the Valparaiso Bowl, and this could be a great one here.
Oh yeah, and I just love the fact that we're going to get to see this in some rain. I think this is going to be one of those games that they call a slobber knocker. I think it's going to be very appropriate for tonight's game with the rain. You're going to see a lot of obviously a run-heavy game, I think, tonight.
Yeah.
Whereas just in general, both teams very strong in the run game. And pass game, the edge does go to Menlo, although, with the weather, who knows how much they'll be able to use that effective pass game tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the coaches kind of go with, if they play real conservative or maybe just say, hey, it's wet, but we're going to do what we normally do. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how that play calling side of the game plays out as well.
Absolutely, and now the clock is set. 12 minutes for each quarter here in this high school championship game, the CCS Division IV championship, and we're ready for kickoff. Once again, Sacred Heart kicking off, and the ball is in the air.
Good kick.
Ball returned from about the 1 yard line. That's Will King's got a seam down the middle of the field. Almost evaded another tackler. Excuse me, that was Max Parker on the return. A nice return to set his team up in great field position. The ball at the 47-yard line to start for the Menlo Knights.
Yeah, really nice run back. Just found a seam and hit it. But, boy, on that tackle, you really saw the water kind of jump out. It is really wet down there.
And those were some of those puddles I was talking about that the players will be having to deal with tonight. Of course, there's no dirt out there, so no mud. But, again, just heavy amounts of water out there on the field. So the Knights will take over from the 46-yard line for the first possession of the game. Under center is Jack Hennigan. He hands the ball off to his running back. That's Haru Peacock over the left side. Nice run on the far side of the field. Gets him past the sticks for a first down run. They're going to put that ball at the Sacred Heart 44-yard line and a run of 11 yards to start the game off for the Knights.
Yeah, nice run. Just bounces out, get the edge, and didn't look like he had any trouble footing on the wet ground, and really nice run there from Peacock.
Yeah, Haru Peacock, expect to see a lot of him tonight. Once again, we'd like to mention Jack Hannigan, the quarterback for the Knights. He's also very effective with the ball in his hands as a runner and as a thrower. He is under center. He's got one lined up behind him. He's got motion to the right side. He's going to take a look at the defense. Appeared to make an adjustment. Hands the ball up the middle to his running back, Jack Marin, who is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Big play made there by Nikolai de St. Andrew.
Yeah, and I think Derek Hunter in on the tackle as well, and just really, shedding the block quickly, filling the gap, and just nowhere to go. And nice defensive play, and stop a little bit of those big chunks they were getting off the return game, and then that big first down run. So you can kind of defense maybe settling in here a little bit.
That pushes the ball back a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11. Hannigan will roll to his right. It's the option. He tosses the ball, and it's a fumble. The ball's on the ground. It looks like the ball bounced back into the hands of Jack Marin, but the referees are going to get in there and figure out exactly who has this ball. And it goes to Sacred Heart. That is the first turnover of the game, and it comes only 1 minute and 5 seconds into the first quarter.
Yeah, real nice hit, and probably, Hennigan probably wanted to keep that ball instead of pitch it, but I'm just going to go ahead and make a prediction that's not the first turnover we see tonight.
Oh, no. We can keep a tally here.
I know. because you could see that ball just squirt right out of there.
It's a very wet football.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'd like to make a correction. That was Travis Chambers on the carry, not Jack Marin. Travis Chambers on the carry fumbled the ball, which resulted in the first turnover of the game. And Sacred Heart Prep will take over at the 48-yard line, their own 48-yard line. Under center for them, Kevin Donahoe. He takes the snap, hands off to his running back over the right side. That's Ryan Gartner with a gain of about 5 on the play.
Yeah, nice little run from Gartner. He got hit about a yard into it and just kind of kept the legs moving, and nice little first down gainer there.
Yeah, picks up 5 on the play, moves Sacred Heart Prep into Knights territory at the 47-yard line. Donahoe under center once again. He's got 2 running backs behind him. Slot receivers to the left side. The handoff flags fly and the whistles will blow. The handoff was to Andrew Segre, but it will not count. They call false start against the Gators here. And that's going to take those 5 yards right back.
Yeah, and if they don't pick up the first here, and it's going to be interesting to see how both coaches handle third down in these conditions, whether they, take shots or go a little more conservative. That's assuming they don't get it, so we got to wait and see. But that is something I'm going to be paying attention to.
Yeah, in a game like this, where turnovers are highly likely just because of the weather conditions, and as the rain falls harder now, just 2 minutes here into the first quarter, time of possession is going to be a big deal in this game. Here's a handoff to the right side. That's Ryan Gardner with a carry. Tried to get around, but could not. He was buried by Will King at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Great defensive play there by Will King for the Knights.
Absolutely. Really good penetration overall. I'm kind of surprised they even got the exchange there.
Yeah,
it looked like they had the QB almost down Donahoe before he even could hand it off.
Yeah, it looked like the couple Knights had gotten in the backfield before the handoff was even made. So very lucky there for the Gators to even get that handoff completed. So here comes a 3rd and 10 attempt from their own 48-yard line. Donahoe under center. He will hand off to the up back, who dives into the middle of the line, picking up about 4 yards on the carry. That will not be enough. He will cross midfield, and now it will be 4th and about 6. We'll see a big decision here from the Gators coach, Peter Lavorato, who is in his 10th season with the Gators. And he's going to send the punt team out there. And, like we were just talking about, I think possessions in this game, field position and possessions are going to play a big part, because this could end up being a very low-scoring game just because of this weather. Both teams know what the other one wants to do. They know their strengths, and both defenses are actually very strong.
Absolutely, and in these conditions as well, you're going to look at special teams and how much harder it is to receive a punt in this weather and then hang on to it. A lot of good things could happen here for Sacred Heart.
So here comes the punt. It is a rolling to the right punt by number 19, Brock Burgess, and it's a nice punt. It bounces at about the 17-yard line, and that's where they'll mark it out. Actually, at the 19-yard line, it's where it bounced right out of bounds, and that's where the Knights will take over for their second possession of the game. So each team has had a chance with the ball. Neither team able to do much with it, although the Gators were able to hang on to it for the entirety of their first possession.
Now we'll see what happens. The Knights came out and had a few nice plays there. On one for their turnover, we couldn't really get a feel for what they were going to be able to do offensively, so we'll see here. Starting
out at their own 19-yard line, under center is Jack Hennigan, the very elusive quarterback. He's going to throw for the first time in this game. He's intercepted. That's number 36, Nick Salzman, with the interception, rolling down the near sideline inside the 10, and he's dragged down by Jack Hennigan. But a big play for Nick Salzman and the Sacred Heart Prep Gators, and that puts them inside the 10-yard line with 8:06 here in the first quarter.
Really, really great read from Salzman. Just followed the eyes of Hennigan the whole way, and it just kind of cut that route. And it was especially good defensive play because the receiver wasn't really near him. He just, he read the quarterback the whole way and picked it off. And now, 2 turnovers already for Sacred Heart. We'll see if they can capitalize on this one.
Yeah, don't know if that ball slipped out of the hand of Hannigan or if it was just a very bad throw. He didn't see Salzman there, but the ball just seemed to be thrown right to Salzman, who took it back for a nice return after the interception. So here come the Gators once again. They hand off, going to the left side, a big hole, and the ball's dropped. It's fumbled once again, and I think he's able to get it back. There's a huge scrum for the ball, and that is
I think number 10, Max Parker, for the Knights.
No indication from the referees yet, and now they do indicate it is once again Menlo School ball. They recover the fumble at the 2-yard line. I believe, I didn't see who exactly was carrying the ball there. It looked like maybe Kevin Walker, Andrew Segre for the Gators, carrying the ball over left guard there, trying to fight his way to the end zone. Fought a little bit too hard, and the ball just popped out. That's our second fumble of the game already. 7:50 still remaining here in the first quarter. That is the third turnover of the game. Second fumble. So here comes 1st and 10 from inside their own 3-yard line for the Knights. I'm not quite sure who took the ball on that play, but it's good only for maybe a yard on the play. To carry over the left side. Looked like Hannigan took it himself. So that's as good for, they're going to call it a gain of 2 on the play. That puts them at about the 5-yard line.
Yeah, and if you're the Knights, you'd really like to get at least one first down here and kind of get out of your own zone back there. It's going to be a battle of field position this game, I have a feeling. And, you know, they're going to want to move the ball a little bit here and get some cushion behind them.
Here comes the second down play, and it's a pass caught by the receiver, Connor Patterson, on the near sideline for a short gain on the play. That gets them across the 10-yard line. Brings up 3rd and about 1 for the Knights.
Yeah, that was awfully close to a pick 6. Really nice job by Patterson hanging on to that pass. But, you know, rain maybe affecting Hannigan's zip a little bit early here.
Yeah, this amount of rain, though, not slowing down the Knights and what they want to do, or at least not deterring them from what they want to do, which is throwing the ball. They've done it successfully all season long. Here comes the 3rd and 1 play. They hand it off. That's Peacock, and he gets stuffed behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe lost a yard on the play, and that will bring up 4th and about 2 for the Knights inside at about their own 10-yard line.
Yeah, nice play by the defense. Just played run the whole way.
Yeah, Hiru Peacock with the carry there. Could not get back to the line of scrimmage. That brings up 4th and 2. So back to punt now for the Knights. This is number 10, Max Parker, who also had the nice return earlier in the game.
I don't know where the punt return guys aren't too deep.
Yeah, you know, this is something we also might see tonight is maybe not having punt returners back, just letting it go because of the wetness.
Yeah,
you don't want to have anybody back there, and you'd rather take the ball like you saw right there. The ball's not going to bounce very far because of the moisture on the field.
Pretty good punt, though, all said and done.
Yeah, great punt
50
there
yards.
By Max Parker, setting up the Sacred Heart Gators on their own side of the 50 at about the 48-yard line.
You know, that's a good point. I was kind of thinking back to Sacred Heart's first punt and kind of thinking, hey, I think they should have kicked it to the guy.
Right.
You know, it was a good punt going out of bounds, but, you know, given how hard it is to hang on to the ball, I think Sacred Heart making a smart play there, just letting it go. Just let them kick as far as you can. Hey, we'll take our shot at about midfield.
Yeah, you know, and on top of having a wet football to worry about, a punt returner has to look up into the rain to try and catch a punt, and that could also be a problem for any punt returner. So you'd rather just let the ball go and take your chances. And actually, Sacred Heart starts off with great field position here. The handoff going over the right tackle. That's number 34 on the carry, Andrew Segre, who fumbled the ball on the last possession. He gains about 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 8 at the 50-yard line.
It's kind of like a mirror image of their last series here.
Yeah, starting out.
Quite a frantic start and still 0-0, though.
Yep, 5:21 remaining here in the first quarter. We've seen 3 turnovers already and 2 punts, 1 from each team. Here's the handoff, a big hole over left guard for number 34, Segre. And he is dragged down by the last possible defender at the 35-yard line. A first down for the Gators.
It's a nice run by Segreg, breaking out into the second level, and it looked like if he just shed one more, he might have been gone. But really nice big pickup there on second down, and big first down here.
Yeah, Andrew Segre is the workhorse here for Sacred Heart. They hand off to Segre again, dives right into the middle of the line, and he is pushed forward for a gain of about 3 on the play. And it definitely looks like what we expected. Sacred Heart Prep rushing for almost 270 yards average per game, and this rain is not going to slow down what they want to do.
Well, you know, they've ran that play now about maybe 3 or 4 times where they have, I believe, number 22 streaking across, but they've gone down the middle with it. I think coach is trying to lull the defense to sleep and then get it wide on them next time.
Segre with a carry around left tackle again on the near sideline, dragged out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Just outside of the 20, they'll spot him at the 21-yard line. Nice tackle there by Brock Burgess for the Knights, and that'll be another first down for the Gators.
So Segre is running the ball really nice here, and so far hanging on to it except for that one fumble, and so they're just going to keep giving it to him and see if he can keep getting chunks of yardage.
Yeah, the rain now falling as hard as it has all day, and which it has done. The rain has been falling all day, and a fumble on the snap. Falls backwards and is covered up there by Segre. Nice heads-up play. Not Segre. That is Ryan Gartner on the fumble recovery to save his Gators. Another big turnover there, but another fumble.
Yeah, so that's 3.
That is 3 fumbles now.
3 fumbles first quarter. It's going to be a lot of fumbles if this trend continues, but luckily for Sacred Heart, they're able to cover it up, but could be faced here with a long third down if they don't get anything good here on second.
Yeah, still 3.5 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. We've already seen 3 fumbles, 1 interception. Here's the handoff. Oh, a dangerous handoff there, and Ryan Gartner with the carry over left guard for a gain of maybe 1. Maybe he got back to the line of scrimmage, but it looked like that ball was also slipping around before it got handed off cleanly.
Yeah, nice penetration from the defense, kind of disrupting. It looked like I could have for sure thought there was going to be a fumble. And again, we see Chris Lee keep streaking across, sideways up the field. And one of these times they're going to give him the ball, and I think he's going to be able to have some room out there on the edge.
Yeah, we have yet to see Kevin Donahoe throw the ball in this game. It's been a handoff to one of his running backs on every play. He takes the snap from under center every play, as he will do again on this 3rd and 12 now for the Sacred Heart Prep. He's going to throw the ball now, looking down the middle of the field into double coverage, and the ball is knocked down there by Burgess, making another defensive play for the Knights.
Yeah, and you could kind of see that ball didn't really come out clean. Donahoe unable to maybe get a good grip on it. It kind of just squirted out of there. It is looking really tough to get anything going passing out there right now.
Yeah, to get any sort of grip on the ball as a quarterback has got to be really difficult. I mean, it's got to be hard just to get the snap from the center, let alone trying to throw the ball. He was looking for his tight end there, Derek Hunter, down the middle of the field, but he was well covered. Lucky for Donahoe that ball was not intercepted by Burgess. Here comes the 4th and 12 play. They will go for it here from about the 25-yard line. They send Lee in motion once again. Back to throw is Donahoe. He rolls to his left to the near side and rolling backwards and will dump the ball off to a running back. Squirted out from nowhere. That was Ryan Gartner. Gets to about the 17-yard line. He'll be short of the first down by a lot, and that will be a turnover on downs. But a great heads-up play there by Donahoe. I didn't think he had anybody to throw the ball to.
Yeah, that was it was a broken play. I think he wanted to go to Lee on the right, and he had him. So I was kind of surprised he didn't go out there. And I thought Lee had some room to run out there. But definitely, turning something into nothing. Unfortunately, they needed 12, and they only got about 8.
Yeah, to hit Lee, he would have had to throw far across the field there, and I think he just thought better of it, found his dump-off receiver there, and just did exactly that, checked it off to his running back, and they were able to pick up some yardage, but not nearly enough for the first down. So here comes the first down play from the Knights. Hennigan fakes the run, decides to throw it to nobody in particular in the middle of the field. Looks like he had Connor Stasny in the area, but he not able to put the ball on target, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Stastny's their leading receiver for the Knights, and he found a little zone there. He was open. Might have been a called run play, though, for Hennigan, so he wasn't able to locate him. But, man, they're looking a little bit out of sync right now, are the Knights.
Yeah, both offenses having a hard time throwing the ball. We've seen that so far, and it has a lot to do with the weather. Here's a handoff to Peacock. Goes up the middle for a gain of about 3 or 4 on the play. That's one of the first positive plays they've had since their first drive of the game, where Peacock ran for a gain of 11.
Yeah.
Since then, we haven't really seen much of anything, but there's a positive gain, 4 yards. That'll bring up 3rd and 6 for the Knights now.
Sometimes you just need to get that first down after you take over, get that first down, and then things can kind of get rolling. And so this is a big 3rd down for him right here. About a manageable 6-7 yards. Should see a throw from Hennigan.
3rd and 6, Hennigan under center. He's got Peacock behind him, and he fumbles the snap, picks it up, throws to his left side, finds his receiver, but the ball isn't quite there, and it hits the ground. Incomplete, and that will bring up 4th and 6. Coach Mark Newton for the Knights, he did say that, quote, actually, we've played in a hailstorm, and it was brutal, and we threw for maybe 250 yards and scored a lot of points, end quote. So,
wow.
I mean, apparently they've played in supposedly worse weather than this season, and they've had success. So maybe that's why we still see them trying to do that here. But a hailstorm and a rainstorm like this, those are 2 very different things.
Yeah, I was just going to say, hail's pretty bad, but it might not be as wet as this rain is.
So another great punt there by Max Parker.
Sure was.
And this time it is fielded down at about the 35-yard line. And this is going to be the worst field position of the day for Sacred Heart Prep. For their first couple of possessions, they had the ball on the plus side of the 40-yard line this time, 5 yards back at their own 35 after a nice punt once again by Max Parker. They did have somebody back there to return the punt that time, but he stayed far away from the ball. The wind blowing in the other direction. So the wind blowing into Max Parker's face there makes that punt a little bit more impressive.
Yeah, Max Parker with a couple of really nice punts, and obviously in conditions like this where it's tough for offenses to get going, having that punting game, it's a big factor.
Gators with a toss to the left side. The ball is tipped and recovered by the Knights. A great defensive play there by Matt Bradley. Got in and just got his hand on the toss back to the running back, and that sent the ball flying in another direction and recovered by the Knights. That is another fumble and another turnover, this time in favor for the Knights.
Yeah, really heads-up defensive play. And now we'll see if the Knights can get some production here.
I mean, that was a spectacular play by Matt Bradley, just breaking through the offensive line, getting his hand on that ball, and creating a turnover for his team. You can't emphasize how great of a play that was for Matt Bradley. And the Knights, with their best field position of the day, Hennigan back to pass, throws down the middle of the field, had his receiver threw it a little bit behind Peter Barrett, and the throw goes incomplete on 1st down. But once again, the Knights come out and they do exactly what they say they want to do. They want to throw the ball. They continue to try it.
Yeah, I think Hennigan wanted to go deep on that play and then went to his check down, and then, like you said, just throwing a little bit behind. And he's going to have to be pretty accurate, because just as hard as it is to throw in wet conditions, it's hard to catch it as well if it's out of your kind of comfort zone, thrown behind or low or what have you. So it's going to have to be a little more accurate than that.
They got receivers in a spread formation here. Motion from the left side. That is Max Parker, and they hand the ball off to Peacock up the middle, who stumbles after a gain of about 5 on the play. That'll set up a 3rd and 5 from the 31-yard line in plus territory for the Knights. A minute and 15 seconds remaining here in the first quarter, and we've got a 0-0 tie and a lot of turnovers, as you would expect in this kind of weather.
5 turnovers, maybe?
A total of 4 turnovers so far.
Jeez.
4 turnovers. 3 fumbles and 1 interception thrown by Hennigan. So here comes the 3rd and 5 play for the Knights. They hand off to Peacock. He'll take it over right guard. Gets the first down, a little bit more before he's finally taken down by Mike Covell on the play. But a nice game there for Hiru Peacock. And a first down for Menlo. That is only their 2nd first down of the game.
Yeah, Peacock with a nice run there, nice blocking from his offensive line, and maybe, Sacred Heart thinking pass, and Menlo with a nice play call, power run to the right side.
So 1st and 10 for Menlo School from the 22-yard line. They hand off. No, it's the fake handoff to Peacock. Hennigan keeps himself, and he is buried for a loss on the play. A host of defenders, including big number 63 for the Gators, Patrick Finnegan, with a big hit. It looked like a painful hit on Hennigan right there.
Yeah, got a pretty good lick on him, and well done from them not to bite on the fake. I'm not sure how they sniffed that out, but a really nice play defensively.
And that will be the end of the first quarter, a 0-0 tie, where we've seen a lot of sloppy play, and it has a lot to do with the sloppy weather out here. But hopefully we have more to look forward to in the rest of this game right now.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the Play on Sports school broadcast program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
So the Knights will start off with their best drive of the game so far. To start off the second quarter, they'll have the ball at about the 23-yard line with a 2nd and 11 after that 1-yard loss on the play by the keeper for Hennigan on the run there, Jack Hennigan, the quarterback for the Knights. And we have seen him try to drop back and throw a couple times. There's no success yet. And you can't. This weather, it doesn't matter. You have to practice in it to get any sort of
Right.
Continuity with this kind of weather, and you don't really get a chance like that. I know we've had a lot of rain here in the Bay Area in the past week, but still, there's no way to prepare for a game like this. Here comes the 2nd and 10 play. Hennigan back to pass. He's looking down the middle of the field. He's got a receiver, and the ball is dropped. Matt Bradley, who had the great defensive play to give his team the ball on this drive, drops a touchdown pass at about the goal line right there. That ball was in his hands, of course. A very slippery ball slips right through his fingers.
Yeah, and it's not only the rain. I'm looking at this field, and you think about grass fields with real grass. There's this big hump in the middle, and rain it will tend not to accumulate. And this turf field is very flat, and so there's no drainage
right
or flow off, and so the ball is just soaked. Normal conditions, maybe you can dry it off a little bit, but not tonight.
The 3rd and 10 play was a quarterback draw for Hennigan, but he gets sacked in the backfield by, it looks like that was Ben Burkervin on the play for the Gators, making the sack for a loss of 3. And that'll bring up 4th and 13 for the Knights, and looks like they're going to go for it from just inside the 25-yard line. Yeah, you're running a route down there in the middle of the field. You got a lot of things to worry about now. You got the rain coming down in your eyes. You're trying to catch the ball. The ball is wet. The floor is wet. And then, of course, you're running down the middle of the field. You're ready to take a big hit as well. So a lot of factors on that play for Matt Bradley, unable to complete the catch. So here comes the 4th and long try. Throw down the left side of the field. Nobody there. And that will be a turnover on downs. The Sacred Heart Prep Gators will take over at the 25-yard line, going the other way.
Yeah, and already a couple of drops. With these conditions as a receiver, you might have to adjust, how you catch it. You might have to start thinking about catching it with your body, going against what you've practiced basically your whole career, and start really cradling that thing in there, because it's just going to want to slide right through your hands every time.
Yeah, and a lot of these players doing something they've probably never done before. A lot of these receivers I can see have taken their gloves off. They are out there barehanded, and if you're not used to that, besides the ball being wet, that's a whole other field just trying to catch the ball without gloves.
Sure is.
Here comes the 1st and 10 play. They hand off to the sweeping wide receiver. Looks like Jack Del Santo on the carry to the right side for maybe a loss of 1 on the play. That'll bring up 2nd and 11. That was the handoff to Jack Del Santo for the Gators.
Yeah, Chambers, number 5 Chambers for the Knights, making a really nice play, eluding the block. And I thought Del Santo was going to have some room to run there, but Chambers making a real nice kind of juke on his blocker and then getting the tackle.
The wind now blowing in towards the near sideline and to the left. So into the face of the offense, they hand the ball off. That's Segre again. Segre for no gain on the play, maybe another loss. And now the Knights defense standing up tall against this powerful running offense of the Gators.
Yeah, this is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a game like this. They're just these teams who are so strong at, Sacred Heart so good at running on the season. Menlo such a strong passing team, such a high-powered offense, and they're just having such a tough time with this weather.
Yeah, they hand off up the middle. That's Ryan Gartner on the carry for a gain of maybe 3. Gets just past the original line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up 4th and a long 9 for the Gators. The Gators, a team that prides itself on winning in the trenches every week. Like we talked about, a very strong rush game, 270 yards per game average. They've rushed for over 3,200 yards on the season, 6.1 yards per carry average. And when they don't have the ball, of course, we've seen their defense do some great things. The number 1 scoring defense in the Central Coast section, they recorded shutouts in 5 out of 10 games this season. 5 out of 10 games. They put a big goose egg up on the board. Here comes the punt from Brandon Spillane. It's a nice punt against the wind, and, of course, the returner will not go near it. The ball will stop at about the 30-yard line, and so far we've seen some great punting.
Sure have.
I mean, you don't want to, you hate to say that there's only, you'd hate to say that the best part of this game so far has been the performance by the punters.
Yeah.
But, again, the weather affecting both of these punters, and they're doing what they got to do out there.
Yeah. I think I like that Menlo went for the all-out block on that last punt. I think that's a smart play, knowing that, you're just going to let it go.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not just send everybody? You don't need anyone back there to block. So we'll see if we might see a block punt in this game as well.
Here comes the 1st and 10 play for the Knights. They hand off to Peacock over the left guard. He's got a hole. Cuts back in towards the middle of the field, gets to the 39-yard line before he's dragged down. Another nice run there for Hiru Peacock. A gain of 9 on the play to the 39-yard line.
Yeah, Peacock's had already now a handful of nice runs, and he's able to make good cuts out there despite the slickness of the field, and, really good balance and just kind of weaving his way through the defense for some nice runs.
Yeah,
for Sacred Heart.
Yeah, for Menlo, that's got to be tough. Like you said, the ground does not absorb any of the water. Here comes the quarterback carry for Hennigan. He gets past the first down markers. Looks like he had the read option on that, decided to keep it and pick up about 4 yards for the first down to the 43-yard line. And the Knights having some success running the ball here. But like you said, this artificial field turf does not absorb the water. It just sits on top of the field. And as the rain continues to pour down here in Pacifica, we're just going to see the water just continue to pile up on top of itself. And it's going to be very hard for all these players to keep their feet.
Yeah.
Here's the handoff coming from the right side. A nice hole over the left side. That's Travis Chambers. Finally dragged down by Noah Kawasaki on the play after a gain of about 20 yards, getting down to the 35-yard line. Travis Chambers, a nice carry, cutting. It was a little bit of a misdirection play there from the Knights.
Yeah, really nice run from Travis Chambers. He's coming towards us, the near sideline, and then patiently waits and puts his foot in the ground and just turns it upfield real quick. And really nice run from Chambers there.
So another first down for the Knights, and they're driving now in Sacred Heart territory at about the 35-yard line, 1st and 10. Hennigan will line up under center. He's got Peacock behind him as a single back. They're coming motion from the right side. That's Chambers again. Fumbles the snap, Hennigan does, but he grabs it and turns it into a positive play. Gain of almost 3, maybe 4 on the play, but another dangerous play there for the Menlo Knights.
Yeah, we've recorded, I forget what you said, 4 fumbles, 3 fumbles.
We are at 5 fumbles now.
Oh, my. But are we counting those ones where they're just – does that one count there?
Did that ball hit the ground?
I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is that there's more to the story. It's mishandled, exchanges and stuff like that are also occurring.
Looks like they try the same play again. This time they do get the handoff there to Travis Chambers, and he takes a big hit near the first down marker. But it looks like he did get there. He hangs onto the ball First down for the Menlo Knights. That's Travis Chambers on the first down sweep carry.
Yeah, and one thing I like that Chambers is doing right now, he's making the adjustment to the weather, and he's got 2 arms around that ball for the duration of the run. Even if he feels like he got free, like on the run we saw towards our sideline, 2 arms around the ball all the way through contact. He knows that it's tough to hang on to, and he's going to use 2 arms to do it.
Menlo Knights 1st and 10 at about the 25-yard line. 6.5 minutes remaining here in the first half. We still have a 0-0 tie. The Menlo Knights with the ball, driving in Sacred Heart territory. Here's the carry for Peacock. Runs right into the middle of the line. He's tackled there by Paul Westcott at the line of scrimmage for no gain on the play.
Well, they've had a lot of success with those kind of sweeping runs, and maybe just going up the middle to keep Sacred Heart off balance. But I'd like to see him do some of the more of those edge runs.
And of course, Menlo does like to throw the ball, so maybe run the ball 3, 4, 5 times in a row here, and then surprise Sacred Heart. Maybe catch them off balance with a play-action pass here nearing the red zone. 2nd and 7 now for the Menlo Knights. Hennigan in shotgun formation takes a snap. He's throwing all the way, and he's sacked. Lucky to hang on the ball there as he is taken down by a host of Sacred Heart defenders in the pile. I saw Patrick Finnegan, one of the players, bringing him down.
Yeah, and I bet Hennigan's starting to get frustrated here. He's not used to not being able to throw it. They've had so much success on the season. He's just got to hang in there, and it'll come around for him.
Once again, thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com. I'm Sonny Beaupre here with Willie McFarland for this CCS Division IV championship game between the Menlo School Knights and the Sacred Heart Prep Gators. Here's the carry. It's the quarterback option. Hennigan keeps it over the right side, picking up about 9 yards, getting down close to the 15-yard line, close to the first down marker. And it's a nice little run there for Jack Hennigan of the Knights.
Yeah, that was a big-time run from Hennigan, and setting his team up for a really, really short 4th down here.
Yeah, it'll be 4th and 1 from just inside the 12-yard line. 4:27 remaining here in the first half. Hennigan, keeper, gets past the line of scrimmage, and looks like he got enough for the first down. Just crosses the 15-yard line. First down, Menlo.
Yep, nice. Another keeper there from Hennigan. And now, let's see, they're about the 14-yard line. We'll see if they go all air here. I have a feeling they might just try to take some shots in the end zone here.
So 1st and 10 from officially, we'll call it the 15-yard line. Hennigan will line up under center. He's got Peacock in the backfield. He hands off to Peacock. No, fakes the handoff to Peacock, and they give it to Travis Chambers on the carry once again. Travis Chambers with the carry, took it from the right side, got back to the line of scrimmage. Actually, no, he got past the line of scrimmage. A gain of about 4 on the play. 2nd and 6 now for Menlo.
Yep, so I was wrong. They weren't going to
at this point, you got to stick with what's got you here,
yeah, you're right.
and they're running the ball very well. Haven't had a lot of success throwing the ball. You don't want to make a crucial mistake here in the red zone with just 3.5 minutes remaining in the first half. A 0-0 game with the rain falling the way it is. Stick with what's working, and they do just that. They hand the ball off to Peacock up the middle, picking up about 4 yards on the carry, getting to the 10-yard line.
Yep, they're having a lot of success now, like you said, and they're going to want to. They're reaching for that next first down yard marker here, 4-down territory for sure.
Pretty much in a game like this, it seems like both teams have determined that once you're on the other side of the 40-yard line, it's 4-down territory.
4 downs, for sure.
Because the punt, nobody's back there returning punts, so you can pretty much count on hopefully getting a good punt and setting the team back on their own side of the 40-yard line. Looks like Sacred Heart is going to call a timeout here. That's their first of the game. They didn't quite, defense wasn't quite set. With 2:48 remaining here in the first half, a 0-0 tie. Menlo looking to get on the board first.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championships events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
Willie, I didn't get a chance to go over our officials for tonight's game. Our back judge, Mac Parfait, our line judge, Brian Michelson, head linesman, Mark Aldrich, umpire, Gil Camacho, and our head referee for tonight is Mike King. And I mention them because we have not seen a flag in this game so far. I don't believe we've seen one, besides we did see one false start against Menlo, correction. We did see one false start against Menlo in the first quarter, but besides that, I don't know if the vision of the referees is affected because of this rain or if the weather is just not allowing players to hold on to one of another.
You can't get a holding because you can't hold on to them.
Exactly. You can't hold the ball. You can't hold another player. Yeah. It's just too slippery out there.
Well, we talked about how 4-down territory. Well, 3 points is also going to be huge, and if they are awfully close. I'm interested to see the decision on 4th down.
And with the wind at their back as well. So here comes a 3rd and 4 play from Menlo. They throw the ball, receiver wide open, touchdown Menlo. That was Matt Bradley on the touchdown reception from Jack Hennigan for about 10 yards, and the Menlo Knights get on the board first here.
Yep, Bradley making the adjustment and catching that one with his body. He let it, just kind of wedged it, and they're going to get the touchdown there.
Yeah, he was wide open on the play near the corner of the end zone, near the far goal line corner of the end zone. All he had to do was catch it. Hennigan put that ball where it needed to be, and he did just that. Here comes the extra point attempt from Menlo. It is up, and it is good. That is Timmy Costa with the extra point, and Menlo finds themselves on top 7-0 here against Sacred Heart Prep with 2:44 remaining before halftime. And that was a very solid drive by the Menlo Knights, able to string together a bunch of first downs and then finish it off the way they know they can by throwing the ball.
Yeah, and showing kind of that, a good team has to be able to win different ways. And, they obviously, looking at the statistics, they like to put big points up on the board, throw it a lot, air it out. And they've had to make the adjustment in this game to start running it. And they did so with success on that last drive, and they cashed in with a touchdown.
So with 2:44 remaining before halftime in this Central Coast Section Division IV championship game between the Menlo Knights and the Sacred Heart Gators, Menlo takes a 7-0 advantage, and they will kick off. It's a squib kick. It will be fielded he tried to pick it up. Now the ball does get to the end zone. They call that an automatic touchback, although back there was Ryan Gartner, who did touch the ball at about the 3-yard line. Then it bounced into the end zone.
It's an interesting rule. I would have thought since he touched it, it might still be live ball.
Right, but I guess as soon as the ball reaches the end zone, it is an automatic touchback. So the Gators will take over from their own 20-yard line, trying to even this game up. It's 7-0 in favor of the Menlo Knights. 2:42 remaining before halftime. Under center is Kevin Donahoe. Motion from the left side, takes the snap, hands off, going to the middle. Gain of maybe 1 on the play for Burkervin on the carry. Ben Burkervin with a 1-yard gain for the Gators. And the clock will continue to roll. The Gators not in any sort of hurry, it seems. Maybe content with going down 7-0. I mean, they still have a lot of time. There's still 2 minutes remaining here in the before halftime. Motion from the left side. That's Gartner. They hand off to the right side where he came from on the carry. That's Burkervin again, getting around the edge and out of bounds after a gain of about 4 or 5 on the play. He gets out of bounds, so that'll stop the clock.
Yeah, good hard running there, and got a nice block from his teammate Segre, and kind of see him getting into the flow of their running game a little bit here.
Yeah, and they give him 6 on the carry. That'll bring up a 3rd and 1 with 2:04 remaining here before halftime. The Gators trying to get on the board here against the Menlo Knights. Donahoe under center. Motion coming from the right side. That's Gartner again. They hand off to Segre over the right guard, and he picks up the first down, and that will stop the clocks automatically right at 2 minutes. They will spot the ball at about the 34-yard line, and the clock will now run. Again, the Gators not looking to be in any sort of hurry right now, with the clock running at 1:50 before halftime.
Yeah, they're going to run out of time unless they get some big runs or get some timeouts or out-of-bounds type.
They hand the ball off to Gartner over the left side. He's got a seam.
Big run.
With some blockers. Tackled from behind at the 47-yard line. A great run there by Ryan Gartner. And now we'll see a little bit of pep in the step of the Sacred Heart Gators here with 1:36 remaining before halftime. They have the ball near midfield, and they will line up before they roll the clock on this one. So now they've got their pace up, and they do still have 3 timeouts remaining. Excuse me, 2 timeouts remaining. Here's a handoff once again. It's Burkervin. Gain of about 7 on the play. Gets across midfield into Menlo territory to the 46-yard line. Clock rolling at 1:15. Still no timeouts being called by the Gators. Second and 3 for the Gators. Donahoe under center, motion from the left side. They hand off to the motion man. That's Gartner again. Gartner tackled in the backfield. A great defensive play, getting into the backfield, making a big play for his defense. Jack Ferguson for the Knights. And the Gators will call their second timeout of the half.
Excellent play from Ferguson. He's going to read the play from the snap and get upfield in a hurry. It's that make your decision and go play. No hesitation. And just went for it, and a really, really nice play from Ferguson.
Yeah, it looks like he trusted his gut on the play because at that point I was thinking maybe Sacred Heart runs some sort of play action because they'd run the ball numerous times in a row there. You're on the plus side of the field. Maybe you try a little bit of trickery there, but they didn't. They handed it off once again. Same play almost that they've been running on every play on this drive, and Ferguson trusted his gut, made the tackle in the backfield, a solo tackle. I'm surprised there that Gartner wasn't able to break the tackle. But a nice open field tackle there by Ferguson, causing this 3rd and about 8 for Sacred Heart back on their own side of the 50 once again at the 49-yard line. Gartner in motion to the left side. They fake the handoff. They will throw the ball. Donahoe looking deep downfield, and he underthrows his receiver. No flags on the field, although it looks like there was a lot of bumping going on there. He was looking for his receiver, Rex Shannon, on a post route, but he was well covered up. The ball was underthrown by a lot, and that ball hits the ground, bringing up 4th and 7 now for Sacred Heart.
Fans aren't too happy about the no call, but I think it was a good no call. The defenders they got in behind him, and they're allowed to keep running. And that's kind of what they did. They just kind of pushed him off legally, kept pushing him away from the underthrown ball.
46 seconds remaining here before halftime, and Sacred Heart going for it on 4th and 8 now. It's another throw from Donahoe looking down the left side, and the pass is knocked down. A great defensive play there by Peter Borrett, just knocking the ball down, knowing he didn't, better off not intercepting that one on 4th down. Very smart play there by Borrett.
Yeah.
But a questionable play call there by Sacred Heart. Now you're giving Menlo the ball with all 3 timeouts on the 49-yard line, your own 49-yard line. You're giving up great field position there. Plenty of time, 41 seconds remaining before halftime. With 3 timeouts, you can at least try to get your team into field goal position here.
Yeah, and also giving it to a team that likes to throw and get big chunks of yards. However, they haven't really been able to do that yet. You give someone enough opportunities, and they'll start settling into what they do best.
Looks like the Knights are going to take a shot here. Hannigan in shotgun formation looking down the middle of the field. He's got a receiver, and the ball is dropped. It was thrown a little bit behind Max Parker on the play, but he had a chance to catch it, was not able to complete the play. If he would have caught that, he'd have been down at about the 27-yard line, but unable to make the play happen.
Yeah, Hennigan's finding these guys, and they're just having a tough time corralling it.
Again, in that situation for Max Parker, he's looking back into the wind. The wind is blowing the rain into his face, and that might have made that play a little bit tougher. But nonetheless, you got to catch that ball. If it hits your hands as a receiver, you got to catch that ball, even in these wet conditions. 2nd and 10 now from the Sacred Heart 49-yard line. Hennigan in shotgun formation once again, rolling to his right side, tries to dump it off to his receiver, Matt Bradley, but threw it at his feet. Maybe that ball slipped out of his hand a little bit, and incomplete on the play. 32 seconds remaining before halftime. 3rd and 10 now for Menlo, who we've seen come out here and throw the ball on 1st and 2nd down.
Yeah, I think they had the screenplay dialed up, and I'm not sure if he just didn't like what he saw, did Hennigan, or yeah, maybe it just slipped out. Because, the old lineman took off upfield pretty quick there.
So now Menlo rushing into the huddle. They were taking their time on this one. They might have to call a timeout before they're called for delay of game. Hennigan will line up under center with Peacock in the backfield. They do get the ball off in time. Hand it off to Peacock up the middle. He gains 1 before he's taken down very strongly there by Ben Burkervin. Once again, making it, saying his name out there for the Sacred Heart defense. But it looks like that was just sort of a, let's get to halftime kind of play there. 15 seconds and the clock will tick here. I don't think Menlo has to run another play. Clock now under 6 seconds. 3, 2, 1. That's the end of the first half here. And it's as we expected, a very sloppy game, a very low-scoring game with a lot of turnovers. Menlo School will go into the locker room with a 7-0 lead over their rivals, the Sacred Heart Prep Gators. And really, if you're Menlo, you have to be happy with that. You had 1 or 2 good drives, and you were able to complete one of them the way you wanted to, throwing the ball into the end zone, whereas Sacred Heart, they're not able to really get anything going on their side of the ball, and they've had a couple of turnovers, very unlike what they've done all regular season.
Yeah, unsacred Heart-like, I guess. And these teams are going to have to make some adjustments going into the second half here, no doubt.
Yeah, so that's exactly what they'll do. Coach Newton will take his Knights into the locker room and see if they can hold on to this 7-0 lead. And Coach Lavarado, in his 10th season with the Gators, will take his team into the locker room and see if they can get some sort of offense going for the Gators. So with that, PlayOnSports.com, we're going to take a quick halftime break. Your score is 7-0. The Menlo Knights over the Sacred Heart Gators here in Pacifica, California at Terra Nova High School. We're going to take a quick halftime break. We'll be back for your PlayOnSports.com halftime show after a couple minutes here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Welcome back to PlayOnSports.com, our coverage of this CCS Division IV championship game between the Menlo High Knights and the Sacred Heart Pep Gators, where we have a score of 7-0 in favor of the Knights. I'm Sonny Boper right here with Willie McFarland for PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. And Willie, it's been a very wet game. We've seen a lot of very sloppy play. Obviously, the wet football will cause a lot of fumbles. And we've seen an interception here and there, but I mean, what can either of these teams do at the half to change the way they play in the second half?
Well, you know, if you're Sacred Heart, you're a running team to begin with, and so you don't have to change much, I think, about your identity. You got to just get out there and execute a little bit better. Menlo, you know, a team that traditionally likes to throw it a lot, they did well making that adjustment in the first half to finally start running it. And I think they're going to maybe continue on that same path. I mean, it's so close right now. It's hard to say, really, in only a 7-point game. It's hard to pick a winner. It's hard to say who really did a whole lot better in that first half. But, you know, this is a big second half here, the championship on the line. And it is going to be the team that's able to navigate these conditions better that's going to win.
Yeah, you know, like you said, Menlo doing a better job adapting, changing, I should say. You know, they are traditionally a pass-heavy team. They pass very well, although they do run the ball very well as well. Whereas Sacred Heart, a little bit more one-dimensional. They run the ball, and they haven't had a lot of success doing that tonight. Menlo on the board first. Turnovers haven't been a huge factor tonight. Both teams have turned the ball over. No points off of turnovers. The one Menlo touchdown was scored after a 3-and-out, or I believe it was a turnover on downs, by Sacred Heart. So turnovers not a huge factor in the first half, although that could always change here in the second half. The rain continues to fall here in Pacifica, California, where our game is happening between these two teams at Terra Nova High School. The rain did kind of let up just for a little bit, for about 5 minutes during halftime. However, in the past 5 minutes, it has come back just about as strong as it has all night long here. We've had a couple of storms passing through the Bay Area over the past couple of days, and we seem to be getting the worst of it right now here in Pacifica, and it's really had its impact on this game. So, and again, we're just expected to have more rainfall here in the second half. So
it's also windier, too, it seems.
You're right. The wind has picked up. We saw the tent here on the Sacred Heart sideline almost get toppled over by the wind during halftime. So that could also continue to play a factor here in the second half. It's very chilly out there. Very wet. The rain continues to just make the field very damp and very, puddly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's if that's even an adjective, but there's a lot of water on the field right now. You can't take a step without a huge splash flying out everywhere, and it's a miracle to me that a lot of these players are able to keep the balance the way they have here in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. Kept the balance, and offensive players are going to have to make adjustments to the way they handle the football. We saw Chambers give us a nice example of that, hanging on two arms for the duration of his runs, and some of the receivers going to have to start catching with their body as opposed to their hands, just because that football is so hard to hang on to.
The scoring play for the Menlo Knights was a 10-yard touchdown pass from Jack Hennigan to his receiver Matt Bradley for a 10-yard touchdown. One of the few successful passes we've seen here tonight. It was on the far goal line. The play was made there for the Menlo Knights, and now they will switch sides. Menlo wearing their navy blue and gold, going from left to right. They'll be kicking off to the Sacred Heart Gators wearing their scarlet and white, who will return on the right side. Another aspect of this game that we've seen is that the coaches have decided to keep their punt returners out of the game. They just don't have anybody back there to return the punt, or if they do have somebody back there, they're not there to return the punt. They're just there to cover it up. Here comes the kickoff. It rolls out of bounds inside the 10-yard line, and that's only the second flag of this game. That's the other aspect of this game. There was only one false start against Menlo in the first half, in the first quarter, on the first drive of the game, and besides that, we haven't seen a flag come out until just then. Illegal procedure, the ball going out of bounds on the kickoff. That will move the ball up to the 40-yard line for the 35-yard line. I'm all over the place now. It's the 35-yard line for Sacred Heart. So a bad break there for Menlo. although, once again, this is not the best field position Sacred Heart has started out with in this game. Under center, Kevin Donahoe for the Sacred Heart Gators. And expect a handoff once again to either Andrew Segre, who had a pretty decent first half. And that's, in fact, what it is. Segre with a carry runs right into the line, somehow slipped through and picked up 8 yards on the carry to the 43-yard line. A nice run there by Andrew Segre.
Yeah, kind of just kept his feet going. Thought he was going to be swallowed up back there for a no-gainer, but he's able to chew up about 8 yards. Really, really nice run from Segre.
Yeah, got his team to the 43-yard line. 2nd and 2 now. Donahoe under center once again. Takes the snap, rolling to his right side, hands it off to Burke Curvin, who gets around the edge, leaps over a defender on the ground, and is tackled out of bounds at the 46-yard line. A gain of 3 on the play, and a first down for the Sacred Heart Gators.
Yeah, another nice run there from the Gators, and I thought they might have been tackled for a loss there, but Burke Curvin doing well to get the edge and get upfield.
Yeah, Ben Burke Curvin he also had a nice first half, a couple carries. The running backs for Sacred Heart, decent numbers, just no results on the board yet. Here comes 1st and 10. They hand it off. That is Andrew Segre once again over right guard for a gain of 5 on the play, getting across midfield into Menlo territory. And right now, Sacred Heart trying to get their sideline pumped up, trying to get their team going, and they're moving the ball pretty well here to start off the second half.
Yeah, they are. Better so far, at least, than the first half, and maybe coming out with a little more fire, a little more energy, and offensive line getting off the ball quick. Crisp running. It's looking good for him right now.
2nd and 5 for the Gators. The handoff is up the middle to Segre once again. He gains about 2 on the play before being taken down at the 46-yard line. Segre, the junior running back, 5'11", 180 pounds. He's a powerful, bruising running back. And the Sacred Heart team, they're on the move. They've got a 3rd and short here, about 3rd and 3 from the 47-yard line.
Menlo's really going to be sitting on this run here.
Donahoe under center, hands off. Segre once again gets the first down, breaking a couple tackles, spinning away from tackles, and stumbles just as he was about to break his way towards the end zone. But a nice pickup and a first down for Sacred Heart once again.
Yeah, he's showing he's hard to get down. You think the play's over, and then he's just kind of. It's like he got 11 yards, but and I say it moves slow because he's just bouncing off people and banging into bodies, and some really tough running from Segre. And, it's really fun to watch, actually.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if the approach has changed here from Segre or the Menlo defense, but he's getting away from tacklers right now. He's not going down at first contact, which was something we saw in the first half. So here comes the first down play for Sacred Heart. Motion from the right side, and here comes a flag. That's going to be a false start against Sacred Heart. That's going to set them back 5 yards, making this a 1st and 15. And that is the first penalty against Sacred Heart in this game. The other 2 penalties were both against Menlo.
The play kind of doesn't develop too fast. You got to bring that motion receiver all the way from the far sideline and getting a little anxious on the offensive line there.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot. Ryan Gartner coming in motion from one side to the other, and oftentimes we've seen him get the carry and try to carry it over, trying to get around the edge, and he's had a little bit of success with that tonight. So here comes 1st and 15 for Sacred Heart. They hand off up the middle. That's Burke Curvin with the carry. Picks up maybe 3 on the play, getting just beyond the 40-yard line. Near the original line of scrimmage, but not quite there. 8:50 remaining here in the third quarter. A 7-0 lead for Menlo over Sacred Heart. And once again, rain not giving these guys a break. It did give them a break. It gave them a break at the wrong time. The rain kind of let up a little bit during halftime, but that was about it tonight. Here's the 2nd and long play. It's the handoff to Segre, who tried to get around the edge, but a nice hard tackle made there by Travis Chambers, taking taken Segre down right at the hip, not letting him get around the edge there, and took him down right at the original line of scrimmage. That'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Yeah, nice tackle from Chambers, getting the helmet in front of the body and stopping Segre, who we know is a big, powerful guy. Could have gone for a lot longer than that had Chambers not made that play.
Yeah, Chambers, a noticeably smaller guy than Segre, able to make the tackle on that play. Big deal. Here comes Gartner in motion. They fake the handoff to Gartner. They give it to Segre again, who runs into his offensive line and falls down after a gain of 4 on the play. That'll bring up 4th and 6 for the Gators. Segre a little upset with himself there that he wasn't able to keep his feet because he had a lot of space over the left side on the near sideline.
Yeah, and hindsight's 20/20, right? But if we take away that false start, it's 4th and 2, 4th and 1 if the plays were called the same and everything happened. But that's a big penalty there.
Yeah, big penalty. The first one of the game, bad timing for it. Sacred Heart was having a great drive until that penalty. And now Sacred Heart trying to get another penalty. They tried to draw the defense offsides unsuccessfully there. Menlo holding their water very well. Sacred Heart calls their first timeout here in the second half.
Play on Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play on Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/playonnetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, playonsports.com.
And we'd like to thank you again for joining us here on playonsports.com. I'm Sonny Beaubright here with Willie McFarland and our crew, Lee Craner, our producer, and big ups to Hans Webb, our videographer, who's actually out there in the rain dealing with this right now. Here's the 4th down play. They hand it off. A big hole and a first down for Burkervin, finally being taken out of bounds inside just outside the 15-yard line at the 16-yard line. 1st and 10 for Sacred Heart.
Yeah, big 4th down run from Burkervin, and kind of finally get the crowd over here on the Sacred Heart side fired up a little bit. It's been tough for them to get excited given the conditions and everything, but they're into it now.
And the wind comes down harder than we've seen all night to this point, and we see umbrellas go flying, papers flying around here in the press box. 1st and 10 for Sacred Heart from the 16-yard line. Gartner in motion. They fake the handoff to Gartner, give it to Segre. Segre finds some blocks, gets to the 7-yard line on a nice carry for him. No, they're going to mark him down at the 8-yard line after a good pickup of 7 on the play. 2nd and 3. So now Sacred Heart driving, trying to get on the board for the first time tonight. Down 7-0 with 6:45 here in the 3rd quarter.
And they're in really good shape now. Got to get this first down and punch it in there.
Yeah, a lot of momentum gained after that 4th down conversion. Here comes Gartner in motion to the right side. They hand off to Burkervin, who spins away from the first tackler, but is finally dragged down by Max Parker inside the 5-yard line. And that'll be 1st and goal for Sacred Heart.
Now you get this sense that now, the score looming, Sacred Heart's energy level has kind of been raised here. And they're kind of playing with a little more urgency, really coming off the ball fast. And this touchdown, the crowd's going to erupt. You better believe it if they do score.
And you could already hear the crowd going nuts. Here's the handoff. Touchdown. No official. No, they're going to say he was short of the goal line. It looked from here like he snuck his way into the end zone. That was Segre with the carry, but the referees mark him just short of the goal line, inside the 1-yard line. Andrew Segre with a tough carry into the middle of the line.
We'll see if they just do maybe a quarterback sneak here and just push it over the goal line.
Donahoe lines up under center. He's got Segre and Burkervin in the backfield. They give it to Burkervin, gets into the end zone. Touchdown for the Gators. That was Ben Burkervin on the goal line carry, getting into the end zone with 5:33 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. And finally, Sacred Heart Prep gets on the board. And now the wind blows furiously.
Whoa.
Just as Sacred Heart is on to attempt this extra point attempt. And this wind can definitely affect this extra point attempt, although the wind is blowing towards the upright, so it could help. We'll see how it works out here for Sacred Heart. On to try the extra point is Brendan Spillane. The snap is high. The hold is down. The kick is up, and it is good. An amazing job holding the ball there by Kevin Donahoe. The quarterback for Sacred Heart had to basically stand up to get that snap, and then I don't know how he got it down in time for Spillane to get that through the uprights.
Yeah, and that's a big extra point right there.
Huge.
In these low-scoring affairs, obviously to even it up, they needed it, but man, that was a big extra point, and amazingly they got it. I gave it no chance.
Oh yeah,
from the snap.
Once that snap went high, you take everything into account. The wet football first of all, the high snap. Okay, Donahoe's got the snap. Now he has to get it down in time for the kick. And then you got the defense. Now they have an extra half a second to try and block that kick. And then the wind. And there were so many things that could have gone wrong there.
Yeah.
But they get that very crucial point to tie this game up. 7-7 now with 5.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. We've got a tie game here in the Central Coast Section Division IV Championship game between the Menlo Knights and the Sacred Heart Gators. Gators getting on the board here for the first time in the second half.
Yeah, and you can just see down on the sideline just a real increase in kind of energy. Guys are definitely fired up on that touchdown.
Yeah, and you got to think that after that great play on the snap by Donahoe, that's also a confidence boost for this Gator team.
Menlo's got to try to answer here.
Yeah, so after a great drive, Menlo will have their chance. It's a squibbed kick. It will bounce into the end zone. That, like we were talking about during halftime, that ball straight on a straight angle, it's just going to skid across the artificial turf at this point.
It's like skipping rocks or something in a lake. Just almost goes faster.
Yeah.
After it hits the ground.
It hits the ground, and how many skips can you get out of it? And that one skipped well past the goalpost out of the back of the end zone. That one might have gotten back to the track. But that will give Menlo the ball at the 20-yard line. Now their chance to answer after Sacred Heart knocked off about half of this third quarter with that long scoring drive. They knocked off more than half of this third quarter. 5.5 remaining here in the third quarter, and they needed it. Here comes Menlo with Hennigan under center, hands off straight into the middle of the defensive line for maybe one on the play. It looks like Peacock with the carry. That was Hiru Peacock with the carry straight into the middle of the offensive line. They're going to give him 1.5 on the play. Brings up officially 2nd and 8. We did see Menlo try to throw the ball, which we know they can do very well in the first half. It didn't work entirely in their favor, but that's how they did score their touchdown on a pass play. Nice touchdown catch to Matt Bradley. And here's another pass attempt. Hennigan rolling to his right, finds his receiver, and a beautiful catch made by Connor Stasny. And they will say he caught it just short of the 35-yard line. First down for Menlo. And Hennigan on the run gets that ball to his receiver. And those are the kind of balls that we have not seen get caught tonight.
Yeah, and I like that play call. It was designed for Stasny all the way, and they used Patterson's streak up to pull upfield on a seam route to get the safeties out of there, and that's what you need to do sometimes to get your quarterback in a rhythm. Get him a completion, easy design play, and well done.
Here's a misdirection play, but it misdirects nobody. Tackled in the backfield is Travis Chambers. Didn't quite get the number on the player making the play in the backfield. Did you get that, Willie?
Well, I thought it was 65, but there isn't a 65 out there, so I guess maybe it was a 55 or a 63, a combination of those two.
Yeah, I saw Mike Covell in there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's the one who made the play. Paul Westcott was also a part of that play. But whoever it was
a good play.
A great play for a loss of 3 on the play. 2nd and 13 now for Menlo. The handoff to Peacock. It's the fake handoff to Peacock. Hennigan hangs on to it, goes over the left side, picks up that yardage they lost on first down, and maybe a yard more. That'll bring up 3rd and 9 for the Knights. 4-yard gain for Hennigan on the run. And, well, we know the Knights can throw the ball. We know they're willing to throw the ball. Yeah. Do we see that on 3rd and long?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to open it up here. If they don't, if they're unable to move the chains, you're giving it back to Sacred Heart, who's riding off that last big-time drive. And, who knows how much, if they can do that again, that's going to be tough for Menlo to come back from. So they're going to air it out here and go for the first.
Hannigan back to pass, looking down the middle of the field, finds his receiver, and the ball is dropped by Connor Stasny, who just made the nice catch earlier in this drive. He was open in the middle of the field, and once again, the weather looks like it had a part in that incompletion. That ball hit Stasny in the hands.
Yeah, if I'm counting, that's probably 3 drops, at least for Menlo now, and that's bad, and they're going to have to kick it away here, it looks like.
Yeah, Max Parker back to punt. There is a return man back for Sacred Heart. Looks like Ryan Gartner back there, Jack Del Santo back there, but he's going to let this one drop at about the 30-yard line. It takes a sideways bounce and is downed at about the 26, 27-yard line by Menlo. So 2:50 now remaining here in the third quarter, a 7-7 tie. We've seen Sacred Heart come out in this second half and drive their way down the field into the end zone. And Menlo's first possession of the second half, pretty unsuccessful. But let's see if Sacred Heart can carry that momentum from their first touchdown drive of the second half.
Yeah, not only did they come out and do that drive, they kind of came out with more energy, it seemed like to me. Just kind of fired up. And you can see it on the sideline now. You compare the two teams, and Sacred Heart certainly riding some momentum, but in these conditions, we know how easy it is to turn over the ball. So that's what I'm thinking if I'm Menlo right now.
Here's a handoff over right guard. It looks like that's Segre on the carry for a gain of 6 on the play. Andrew Segre with another carry, and he is in pain on the ground. He did not get up very quickly after that play.
It's not good.
He's down at about the 34-yard line. They're looking at his left ankle.
Looks like a cramp to me. That might be stretching him.
Yeah, and that could be a big loss for Sacred Heart as Segre has been their main ball carrier tonight. He's picked up solid yardage.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been a huge part of their offense.
But like you said, it does look like they're just working a cramp out of that left leg. So hopefully it's not as serious as it initially looked. He pops right back up. Looked like he's going to be just fine. He has to go to the sideline, at least for a play, and he's jogging off. So he looks to be in good shape.
Fine.
That's good news for Sacred Heart. Andrew Segre, their workhorse tonight, carrying the ball very well so far. After that, especially after that 6-yard gain right there.
Even though he's all right, that sometimes it can be hard to shake off a cramp after you get the first one, and so he may not be back to full speed.
And in a game like tonight, it might be hard to imagine, but you do need to stay hydrated. Yeah, there's plenty of hydration out there, but you need to definitely drink enough water as well. Here's a carry, a tough carry, getting near the sticks for a first down, but looks like they'll mark him just short. Looks like Burke Hervin on the carry again.
Yeah, they're going to give it to him, actually.
And they do. A nice spot gives the Sacred Heart Gators a first down.
Yeah, and they're just back to business as usual, like we saw in their last drive. And Menlo's got to dig deep here, see if they can get a stop.
Now, Burke Hervin lines up in the backfield once again. He's back there with Ryan Gartner as well. They hand the ball off to Gartner over the left side. He's trying to find the edge, and he cannot get there. He rolls over the 40-yard line, gain of maybe 3 on the play, but nice defensive pursuit there by Menlo.
Yeah, and Burke Hervin kind of just ran over his own guy trying to make a block for him on the edge. You'd probably like to put a foot in the ground and make a cut there, but yeah, definitely a nice play defensively, good pursuit.
Yeah, ran into his receiver on the play, Jack Del Santo, out there blocking on the edge. But maybe it's hard to put your foot down in this ground tonight.
Yep.
You think twice about it. Here comes the 2nd and 7 play. In motion is Del Santo. They fake the handoff to Del Santo on the outside. And a tough run up the middle by Burke Hervin, just refusing to go down,
Absolutely.
picking up 6 yards on the play. a yard short of the first down marker. That's going to bring up 3rd and 1, but a tough run there by Ben Burkervin.
That was 6 yards of dragging people there. That was a really, really strong run.
Burkervin and Gartner line up in the backfield once again on this 3rd and 1 from the 47-yard line. Del Santo in motion, and it's Donahoe on a quarterback keeper.
Ooh.
Just gets a shoelace grab there by Travis Chambers, who saves a touchdown run because I'll tell you what, Kevin Donahoe, I don't think anybody saw that coming. Just took the snap, ran right up the middle, and nearly got away.
Yeah, Chambers getting that ankle tackle, and I mean, he's made some really nice tackles out there on defense. We've called his name a couple of times, and a couple of big time saving tackles.
Yeah, he's had a couple of touchdown saving tackles. That looks like that's going to be the end of the 3rd quarter there. That is the final play of the 3rd quarter, and we will go into the 4th with a 7-7 tie here at Terra Nova High School in Pacifica, California for the CCS Division IV championship game between the Menlo School Knights and the Sacred Heart Prep Gators.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you are enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the Play on Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Once again, thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. I'm Sonny Wope right here with Willie McFarland, our producer Lee Craner, and I was about to give Hans a huge thumbs up for what he's doing out there. Our videographer, Hans Webb, out there in the elements. We're here nice and comfy in the press box, and he's the one stuck out there behind the camera, and he's doing a great job out there for us tonight in what's turned out to be a very exciting game here in the second half, a 7-7 tie with the weather the way it is, and Sacred Heart Prep looking to drive for their second score of the second half and give themselves the lead for the first time in this game. Now at the Menlo 44-yard line, 1st and 10 for Sacred Heart. They hand it off. That's Burkervin. No, excuse me, that's Segre with the carry. He's back in after his cramps, it looks like. Picks up 2 on the play, just short of the 40-yard line. Andrew Segre, who left towards the end of the 3rd quarter, who left the field with what looked like cramps, but he's back out there now. It's Segre and Burkervin in the backfield for Sacred Heart. Donahoe under center. He'll hand it off to Segre over the right side, trying to find the edge. Jumps over a defender, gets to the 30 before he's taken down. But what a great play there by Segre, just leaping over a defender on the ground who tried to just trip him up.
Yeah, I love seeing those hurdle plays, and it's rare when you get like such a clean jump like that over somebody. And that was a good run there, and I mean, you know, they're really chewing up big chunks here on these run plays.
Not only are they chewing up big chunks of yardage, but they're really giving themselves the advantage in time of possession right now, and that could be huge in a game like this as well. Like we talked about, turnovers could end up being huge, but time of possession also another big factor. Here's a handoff over left guard. That's Burkervin with a carry for a pickup of about 4 on the play, maybe 5. That'll set up a 2nd and about 6. Yeah, they're going to give him 4, maybe 3 on the carry, 2nd and 7.
Yeah, and you know they've also figured out how to hang on to the ball. You know, we saw something like 5 fumbles in the first half, and so far they haven't really had any trouble yet.
There's a Sacred Heart player on the ground, looks to be in pain. That is Ben Burkervin now on the ground for Sacred Heart. And he seems to be in a considerable amount of pain there. 10:47 remaining here in the game, a 7-7 tie. Sacred Heart driving for their second time here in the second half, trying to get the lead for the first time in this game. Having success on the ground. We haven't seen them try to throw the ball here in the second half yet. And there hasn't been any need for it, honestly.
No. Yeah.
Able to use the elements to their advantage right now. And their advantage is running the ball. Burkervin gets up. He looks to be okay. Maybe just another situation of cramps there.
Yeah.
But he gets off to the sideline without much of a problem. In the backfield now, we'll see Ryan Gartner with Andrew Segre. on the right side at wide receiver, who we will probably see go in motion. There he goes, Del Santo. And the handoff is to Segre over the right guard. Picks up 5 yards on the play, bringing up a 3rd and short from just outside the 20-yard line now at the 21 for Sacred Heart.
Yeah, and I don't know if you got a chance to watch earlier today the SEC championship between Alabama and Georgia, but this is reminding me of the second half of that game. Alabama just chewing up yards running the ball.
Here comes 3rd and short. They hand it off to Segre. Just runs over a defender trying to get to the 20-yard line, which is where the first down marker is. It looks like they're going to mark him just short. He just ran over Matt Bradley trying to get to that first down marker.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get it.
Yeah, they mark him short right there at the 20 and a half yard line, just inches short. It's going to be 4th down now. 9.5 minutes remaining in the game, and they're going to line up and go for it. Obviously 4-down territory in this situation. And they draw the defense off sides. A great hard count there.
Oh, my God, they all jumped.
By Kevin Donahoe, and you got to think that they knew what they were doing on that play, and they wanted to catch Menlo off guard, and that's exactly what they did.
Well, you know, it was a big moment for the Menlo defense to get a stop there on 4th down. They really haven't had an opportunity this drive to get them off the field, and that was their chance. And Sacred Heart getting the whole entire team to jump off sides.
Yeah, I think they were afraid of, the running ability of Sacred Heart has been just all over this Menlo defense here in the second half, and they wanted to get a head start, and didn't work out in their favor there. So 1st and 10 now for Sacred Heart. The handoff goes to Segre again over the right side, near side, and he's gang tackled at about the 15-yard line.
He still didn't go down.
Gain of maybe half a yard on the play. That'll bring up 2nd and 9. Getting close to 8.5 minutes remaining in this game.
Gosh, they've had the ball now for 16 minutes.
They've definitely
had second half or something. Almost the entire half.
They've had the lion's share of possession here in the second half. Here's a run for Gardner over the left side. Picks up 3 yards to the 10-yard line there. That'll bring up 3rd and about 5 now. And looks like another player down for Sacred Heart, lifting up the right leg. And now these Sacred Heart players going down with what looks to be cramps.
Yeah, 3 guys cramping up.
Can't quite get a number on the player down at the moment. We got confirmation that is tight end Derek Hunter for Sacred Heart, who gets up now and walks off to the sideline, looking like he's okay again. Looks like another cramp situation. Of course, we don't know for sure. But that could be a problem here in the latter part of the 4th quarter for Sacred Heart if all their players are going down with cramps.
Yeah.
And Menlo seems to be doing all right now.
Yeah, they are, but you can bet that this defense is getting tired. The window's closing here. They need to get a stop.
3rd and 5 from the 11-yard line for the Gators now. Donahoe with Gartner in motion. They hand it off. No, it's the fake. Donahoe's got room over the right side. He finds his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Gators. An amazing play. Just pure trickery on the part of Sacred Heart, and Menlo never saw it coming.
They sure didn't. He had everybody fooled. And able to get the edge and a touchdown, which is just huge.
Donahoe with the bootleg to the right side, faked the handoff to the far side of the field, came over to the right side. We haven't seen him do that in this game yet, which I think is what surprised Menlo so much. And he just walked right into the end zone, touchdown, Sacred Heart. Now they find themselves up for the first time in this game. 7:44 remaining. Here comes the all-important extra point attempt. This time, Donahoe can't get the snap down, and that's
huge.
Could be huge in this game. They miss the opportunity for the extra point, and now they only have a 6-point lead with 7:44 remaining in the game. Donahoe able to hold down the snap the first time on a bad snap. This time, I think it was a matter of that wet ball slipping right through his fingers.
Yeah. And now, you know, if you're Menlo, if you don't, there's plenty of time left, but the way Sacred Heart's been able to just run seconds off that clock, you know, the window is very small. If you don't score here, you're looking at probably a pretty short clock, just the way that the trend of the game so far. So there should be some urgency here to score from Menlo.
Yeah, at the rate that Sacred Heart has had the ball here in the second half, if they get the ball one more time,
could be over.
That could be the end of the game.
Yeah.
They've had too much success running the ball here in the second half, possessing the ball for long periods of time. As the ball falls off the tee here for the kickoff, we'll go ahead and reset that. Menlo, the door left open for Menlo to come back, and all they need is a touchdown with an extra point. Asking a lot in a game like this where we've only seen 3 touchdowns tonight, but you know, a touchdown with the extra point gives them the opportunity to take the lead here with 7:44 remaining in the game. Menlo licking their chops after that missed extra point attempt. Here comes the kick. It's a straight kick. It drops at the 15-yard line. It's picked up at about the 4-yard line. One of the first returns we've seen for a long time, and a nice return up the middle. That's Max Parker finally taken down at the 30-yard line, but a nice return there by Max Parker for Menlo.
Was a good return, and kind of surprised he didn't spring out a little get some more yards. Looked like he had some good blocking there.
He definitely had a lot of space once he picked up the ball at the 3-yard line. And one of the few returns we've seen here today, as the rain coming down just about as hard as it has all night long, and with a nice swirl of wind out there as well. 7:37 remaining in the game. Menlo down by 6. Under center is the quarterback, Jack Hennigan. Hands off to Peacock, who's going to take the carry over the right side. Picks up maybe 3 yards before being taken down just across the 30-yard line to the 33. And, wow, this rain is officially the hardest we've seen all night.
Oh, my gosh, the wind, too.
And so we reached the crunch time of the game. And as if Menlo wasn't already having a hard enough time moving the ball, now they have to deal with this.
Well, I'm surprised we haven't seen a few more short passes dialed up for the Menlo side.
Well, here it comes. It's a semi-short pass and a great catch there. Made by Peter Barrett in the middle of the field. He knew he was going to take a big hit, but he caught the ball anyways. A very wet ball. Took a big hit from the Sacred Heart defender and hung on to the ball. First down, Menlo.
Pretty amazing that thing didn't get jarred loose after the hit, especially.
Yeah, Peter Barrett, great concentration making the catch there, and that's what we haven't seen a lot of. We've seen a lot of drops in that situation, but Barrett able to complete the catch. First down to the 45-yard line. Here comes Hennigan with a keeper over the right side. There's a flag after a nice gain here. Hennigan throwing the stiff arm, getting out of bounds at about the 35-yard line, but it looks like it's going to come back. That flag is in the area of holding right at the line of scrimmage. But Hennigan throwing out the stiff arm.
Yeah, he sure did. But, man, if there's anything worse than a holding call, it's a holding call and a big-time gainer like that. And that is just crushing.
And that hurts because Menlo, you've had a hard time running the ball here in the second half. And that was a great run there by Hennigan. Finished off very strongly, although that flag was thrown very early in the run. But, that's got to hurt. But now you're Menlo. Does that help at all, knowing that you picked up a big amount of yardage on that run? Like, just having that confidence, all right, we completed a pass and we got a big run. Yeah, it comes back, but still, we can run on these guys.
Yeah, sure, it does. It helps the confidence. And, we're looking at a really, high-powered offense. They're used to scoring close to 50 points in a game. And, maybe they're not too bothered by a 1st and 20.
The penalty sets them back 10 yards, brings up 1st and 20. Hennigan back to pass, looking in the middle of the field, and the interception is dropped right in the hands of Mike Covell. Dropped the interception at about the 47-yard line, and that was thrown right to him.
Yeah, that it goes back to my point. I don't know why they don't try to get in some of the shorter zones of the field. Seems like all the pass plays are, getting 15 plus yards. And just in these conditions, I think you kind of have to adjust and, screenplay, swing pattern, something like that.
Hennigan was looking for his receiver Connor Stasny on the play, but the ball was thrown a little bit on a straight plane. Hennigan is going to carry the ball to the right side, very similar to that big run he had just a few moments ago, but this time only able to pick up 3 yards on the play, and that'll bring up a third and very long, 3rd and 17 now for Menlo, the Knights of Menlo School.
Yeah, and this drive is taking quite a bit of time off the clock as well. Now, if you don't get this and you decide to punt, you're putting a lot of pressure on your defense to get another stop.
Getting down to it, 5.5 minutes remaining in this game. It's a 3rd and long now for Menlo, and they cannot afford to give the ball back to Sacred Heart the way they've been running the ball here in the second half. Here comes Hennigan, back to pass, looking down the left side. He's got a receiver, and the pass is intercepted. A diving interception made by Jack Del Santo right at midfield. Ball goes to Sacred Heart. And the referees are going to discuss it now. Looks like they're thinking maybe the ball may have hit the ground. From here, it looked like a great interception by Del Santo.
No, I thought I saw the flag come out before before the ball was even thrown. I thought I saw it come out.
A flag. There's a flag on the play. I did not see the flag. That's right. You are right. There's a flag. They pick up the flag, and they call it interception for Sacred Heart, and that one hurts if you're Menlo. It's an amazing play there by Jack Del Santo to step in front of the receiver. He was looking for Connor Patterson on the near sideline on the play, but Del Santo refusing to let that one get by him.
Yeah, and you talked about, I think, in the pregame, 3 interceptions on the season for Hennigan prior to this game, 2 coming in the Valparaiso Bowl.
That's correct.
And there's another one, and there's something about this defense that Hennigan does not like.
So Sacred Heart takes over. 5:20 remaining in the game. They have a 13-7 lead. The ball now at their own 48-yard line, just looking to run the clock out for the rest of this game. In motion is Chris Lee. They hand the ball off down the middle of the field. That is Andrew Segre, who is just dragging defenders. Still not down inside the 30-yard line. He dragged defenders for about 15 yards on that play.
Wow. That was unbelievable.
Excuse me. It looked like Segre, but they may have given the ball there to Derek Hunter. No, it was Segre. That's right. It was Andrew Segre on the carry. A big pickup, just dragging defenders downfield with him.
That was an incredible run. Jeez. Just would not go down.
Segre in the backfield, back there with Ryan Gartner. Donahoe under center. Will hand the ball off to Gartner over the left side. Finds a small crease and picks up about 5 on the play. Getting to the 25-yard line. The clock now at 4.5 minutes. And time is running out on Menlo School right now.
Yeah. You can maybe afford one more first down, but after that, they're really going to have to get a stop. They'd like to do it here, no doubt. 2nd
and close to 6 here for Sacred Heart. Going to the right side is Segre. They give him the ball, and he is met by a host of defenders, although we've seen that doesn't mean he's being tackled. He does go down at about the 23-yard line after a short gain on the play. That'll bring up 3rd and about 4 for Sacred Heart. Timeout here. Looks like Menlo will... Oh, no, there's a player down. There's another player down for Sacred Heart. And this has been a recurring theme here for Sacred Heart. We've seen a couple of their players go down here in the second half, although first couple times it looked like it was just cramps. This time... It's hard to say, as it always is from the press box. Don't want to speculate.
Stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com post-game show, where we will select our player of the game, as well as wrap up all the action from this ball game. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
That was Andrew Segre again, who was the player down on the field. This time seems to be favoring his left arm, so... probably not another cramp situation here. He is definitely favoring his left arm as he comes under the tent here on the Sacred Heart sideline. So they'll have to go a couple plays here without him in the backfield. They have Burkervin and Gartner. They hand the ball off to Burkervin, who's a big, powerful man. Got held up at the line of scrimmage, but then found his way past the 15-yard line for a nice gain and a first down for Sacred Heart.
Yeah, and it's just kind of the second effort of these running backs that's killing Menlo right now. They're having a hard time getting them down on first contact, and another big run there.
And it's these big bruising backs. It's Ben Burkervin, who's listed at 6 foot, 180 pounds, and Andrew Segre, who's listed at 5'11", 180 pounds. Those are two big guys. Hard to take down if you're a Menlo defender. And there's Burkervin again, who gets tackled out of bounds by 3 Menlo defenders on the play. Now under 3 minutes remaining in the game. The clock is still going, although it looked like that play got out of bounds.
You know, I've seen that happen several times. I don't know if it's a different rule in high school or something, but they don't always stop it for whatever reason. Don't understand. That was clearly an out-of-bounds tackle.
Well, it ends up as a first down for Sacred Heart. 1st and 10 now from the 14-yard line. Donahoe hands off to Gartner, and the ball popped out. No indication yet as to who ended up with the ball, and now they're going to say no. Second down. For a second, it looked like the referees.
Misleading call there, yeah.
For a second, it looked like they indicated Menlo ball, but they threw up 2 fingers in the air. Excuse me, 3 fingers. 3rd down.
They did it with such conviction.
Yeah.
You thought it was a turnover, but.
And timeout called here by Menlo with 2:13 remaining in the game. Menlo desperately needing a play right now. Down 13-7. Close to 2 minutes remaining in this game, and Sacred Heart once again just grinding time off of this clock.
Play on Sports is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championships events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here.
And once again, thank you for joining us here at PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. I'm Sonny Beaupre with Willie McFarland calling this CCS Division IV championship game. That is the Central Coast Section Division IV championship game between the Menlo High Knights versus their crossroad rivals, the Sacred Heart Prep Gators. Both of these teams from Atherton. This game being played at a neutral location here in Pacifica at Terra Nova High School, where the rain has fallen hard all night long. And it has certainly had its effect on this game. These are two very powerful offenses who have only managed to put up 20 points total in this game, which is not even close to the average for either one of these teams. So here comes a big 3rd down for Sacred Heart from inside, close inside the 10-yard line. Donahoe trying to draw Menlo off sides and has to call timeout because this time Menlo does not bite. Timeout called by Sacred Heart. That is their 2nd timeout here in the second half. Still 2:13 remaining in the game. Sacred Heart nursing a 6-point lead.
Yeah, well done for Menlo not to jump on that one. That would have been most likely the ball game. They're still hanging on to a chance to get the ball back here. With enough time to score.
Yeah, with the weather conditions, we've already seen a couple of failed extra point. We've seen a couple of iffy extra point attempts here by Sacred Heart. So if they don't manage to get the first down here and try the field goal, that's not a guarantee. Mm-hmm. And with the amount of time left here on the clock, Menlo could end up with one last possession to try to make a play at the 6-point lead here for Sacred Heart.
It'll be interesting to see. You know, what distance will they want to go for it on 4th down? 4th and 2, 4th and 1. I think they'll probably try to go for it to end the game. Anything beyond that, maybe they'll try to end it with a field goal, which we'll see.
Sacred Heart has run a couple of trick plays here in the second half. We saw quarterback Kevin Donahoe score on a bootleg play that he fooled us up here as well. So here comes the big 3rd down play from Sacred Heart. They hand it off. Up the middle, fighting for first down yardage is Burkervin, but he's not going to get there. And Menlo will call their final timeout. And that ball is at the 7-yard line. And that will bring up 4th and 3 for Sacred Heart, and a big decision here for Coach Lavarado.
Yeah. I think he tried to kick it.
2:07 remaining in the game. Sacred Heart with a 6-point lead. A field goal here would essentially put the game out of reach. But then again, excuse me, that was not the final timeout for Sacred Heart. That for Menlo, that was their second charge timeout. They do have one remaining. But a missed field goal here could result in a couple different things.
Well, look at it this way. Both things kind of essentially seal the game almost. A first down or a field goal. Which one's easier to get?
Well, in Sacred Heart's case, it looks like the first down is going to be the option for them. They're going to go for it here on 4th and about 3 from the 8-yard line. This is the biggest play of the game so far. Menlo needs a stop to have a chance to get back into this game. The handoff is to Burkervin, who is taken down in the backfield. A big play by Matt Bradley. We've seen him make a couple of huge plays tonight, and that's by far the biggest one of this game to this point. So with 2:03 left on the clock, Sacred Heart turns the ball over to Menlo at about the 10-yard line. Menlo will have to drive 90 yards to try to get in the end zone with 2 minutes left and 1 timeout.
It's going to be difficult. They can't do what they normally do, what they're used to doing. But, this is it. This is what a championship game is about right here.
And it all comes down to this. Menlo down by 6. They need to go 90 yards with 2 minutes remaining in the game. Rolling to his right is Jack Hennigan, who throws and completes the pass past the first down marker. Getting out of bounds is his receiver. Looks like he completed the pass to Connor Patterson on the far sideline. First down Menlo. That's a good way to start this drive.
Yeah, and I like the play call. Let Hennigan roll out to the right. Let him see the field, give him some extra time, and let those receivers work their way open.
That play only took 5 seconds off of the clock. 1:57 remaining in the game. Hennigan under center. Fakes the handoff, pitches it just over the line of scrimmage, and a great play design there from Menlo, and another first down. Connor Stasny plucked that ball out of the air just past the line of scrimmage. A very fancy sort of screen-type setup right there.
Yeah, I think it's only the second screen that they've ran, and only the first screen that actually was a completion. A really great play call.
That play stays inbounds, the clock running after they set the ball for the first down. 1:40 remaining in this game. Hennigan back to pass, looking, rolling to his right now, throws the ball, and he throws it out of bounds. 1:37 remaining in the game. Menlo needing 6 points to tie at 7 to take the lead.
And they've got time here, and they can't get too, they can't gamble too much. Don't get too overexcited. Just take the underneath route if you have to. You got plenty of time here.
And with high school rules, of course, the clock stops every time a first down is gained, whether it's inbounds or out of bounds, so that the sticks can be reset. So there is still that option. 1 timeout remaining for Menlo. Hennigan in shotgun formation, and a flag is thrown before the ball is snapped. Offsides, it looks like. The sideline referee there motioning offsides. And that is, in fact, the call offsides against Sacred Heart. And how does that happen in this kind of situation? How do you allow that to happen if you're Sacred Heart? That's an easy 5 yards for Menlo, setting them up at about their own 43-yard line. And now Sacred Heart trying to make some changes on the field.
They could get him if they snapped it.
And they do not snap the ball in time. The throw from Hennigan is picked. Oh, another drop there.
Oh, man.
And Patrick Tinsley is beside himself for not picking that ball off. He had that ball in his hands, and that was the game. That was the championship. The ball, being as wet as it is, just slipped right out into the ground harmlessly for Menlo. Yeah. Hennigan took a big hit on the play as well.
Yeah, he's having a hard time. I mean, this is a guy, 33 touchdowns, 3 picks. And he's had a couple lucky breaks here. The Sacred Heart's dropped a couple.
1:32 remaining in the game. 3rd and 5 from the 43-yard line. Hennigan back to pass. rolling to his right. He's going to run with it. He's got the first down and goes out of bounds past midfield. First down for Menlo. That is huge. They're going to mark him out about the 49-yard line on the plus side of the 50.
Quarterback keeper all the way. And I'd like to see them not take too big a chance throwing. You got to throw it, sure. Maybe some underneath kind of crossing routes or something, because you know, when he kind of in the conditions, you loft it up down the middle of the field on a seam route, it's trouble.
You can't just hope that the defender's going to drop the ball on every play. Hennigan back to pass again, looking to the left side, and he overthrows his receiver, and it is intercepted. It's Del Santo. He's taking it down the right sideline. One man to beat. It's Hennigan, and Hennigan takes him down inside the 20, but that should do it, folks. Sacred Heart may have just sealed the deal. That was Jack Del Santo, who's had himself a big game with that interception, bringing it back to within the 20-yard line. And Sacred Heart should be able to finish this game off now with 1:14 remaining in it.
I think that big-time play there, but you know, Hennigan underthrowing the ball a couple times, overcompensated. He overthrows his receiver, and that one wasn't going to be dropped.
Nope, Del Santo was not going to let that one go. He also had the interception earlier as well at midfield. He's got 2 picks tonight. Del Santo having himself quite a game on the defensive side of the ball. And now it looks like Sacred Heart will come out in a victory formation. Just try to down the ball here. Menlo does have 1 timeout remaining. Let's see if they decide to use it. And they do. Menlo does call their final timeout with 1:11 remaining in the game after Sacred Heart takes their first knee. So, Willie, we talked about turnovers in the first half. We didn't see any fumbles here in the second half, which is surprising considering the weather. But we did see a couple of interceptions, and that one by Jack Del Santo to seal the game, the biggest turnover of the game. And the turnover battle is won definitively tonight by Sacred Heart.
Yeah, it was, and you got to feel that, you know, the Menlo guys must be so frustrated, just kind of completely taken out of their comfort zone. I mean, look at the weather out there is just unbelievable, and they weren't just not able to get into any type of flow offensively.
Sacred Heart just needs to down the ball one more time. Menlo does not have any more timeouts. The clock is down to under 1 minute remaining in the game now, and that should do it. One more kneel for Sacred Heart, and they can call themselves CCS Division IV champions. And as great as a win as it is, as we see Sacred Heart players getting ready with the Gatorade bucket to get Coach Lavarado.
He's already soaked anyways.
Right? What more could happen to him tonight with this? There is the final play of the game. That's going to do it as Donahoe kneels the ball one last time, and let's see if we can get this. And there he is, as if he wasn't already cold and wet enough. Coach Peter Lavarado gets the Gatorade bucket as the Sacred Heart Prep Gators are CCS Division IV champions, and they will celebrate on the field tonight. Menlo, they can hold their heads up high. They played a very strong game in the weather conditions the way they were tonight. A 13-7 game for 2 high-powered offenses. I think we all could have seen something like this happening, and Menlo played a very strong game. There's no reason to be upset with themselves, besides the fact that they obviously lost a game that they really wanted to win against a lot of their friends. These are crossroad rivals in Atherton, California. And congratulations to Sacred Heart Prep, the Gators, who have won this year's the 2012 CCS Division IV Championship over the Menlo High Knights. So we're going to wrap things up here from PlayOnSports.com in just a little bit. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll see if we can get your PlayOnSports.com player of the game up here for an interview. And we'll wrap things up here from Pacifica, California, where once again your final score is the Sacred Heart Prep Gators 13 and the Menlo School Knights 7. We'll be right back with your post.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP. get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.